I'm Colin Ambrose. Welcome to American Rivers Tour. I own a restaurant in Sagg Harbor, New York called Estia's Little Kitchen. But when I'm not working, I love to get out on the rivers across the country, meet chefs and guides, and spend time learning about their little corner of the woods. It's a trip that I wouldn't miss for a lifetime. Thanks for joining us on the American Rivers Tour. I hope you get a chance to try this trip out someday too. The fish are on the move right now. These are striped bass. They call them rockfish down south, right?
South. Yeah, Maryland.
And they're heading for, let's just talk a little bit about what's going on here. This is the ultimate river fish, wouldn't you say? I mean, for me it is.
Yeah, no, this is where they spawn. I mean, that's the Hudson River is kind of one of the iconic spawning grounds, and up in the Hudson, Delaware Bay, and that whole area up there. So that's kind of where their journey begins. And then they go north and they get up to Maine. And now this is the fall migration, so they're heading back down south, and they're feeding on anything they can to get down and start the journey again.
You've been fishing for striped bass for most of your life?
And, so I guided for a little bit, ran boats privately, and then more recently now the beach stuff, and it's fun. It's a different fishery. It's totally different than the boat. You know, it is more like river fish. I mean, as you saw today, we're driving the beach, we're reading water, we're looking for deep water, we're looking for pockets, and so it's been fun, to kind of spend, you drive 2-3 miles a day on the beach, and luckily the last few weeks have been really good. So.
The setup, let's talk about the setup real quick. There was a teaser fly, an epoxy fly that I was using,
Yep.
and below that a deadly dick. What do you give it, about 4 feet between the epoxy fly?
About
and
30 inches usually.
And then how far is the teaser off the main line?
It's just a tag, and it depends. I try to get a good 8-inch tag to me, just because, you're going to tie a few different ones on. So, and what we'll typically do is, I use the swivel on the bottom to change either from a deadly dick. Sometimes we'll use a diamond jig. Sometimes we'll use a mag darter, depending on what they're eating, what we're seeing out there bait-wise. And then up there with the fly, which I personally I do very well with the fly. I think it's, you're throwing 2 different things. You had a great sand eel pattern today, and it worked, And I use a knot called the Davy knot, which is a knot that we use it a lot in trout fishing for when we're doing Euro nymphing and we're doing tags and stuff. And it's a super simple knot that it allows you to not have any tags, so you can tie one teaser on. I was using a smaller teaser, didn't have any luck, so then I went to a bigger one. Now, you do that 3 or 4 times, and you use like a clinch knot or something, your tag's gonna be gone. So we use this Davy knot that is, you can kind of tell how long you want your tag, and you can just pinch it by the eye and pull it tight, and you use very little tag, so it'll last a lot longer. So you're not always retying the leader. Yeah.
We had a community on the beach today.
Yeah.
Talk about those guys, if you would. Nico is a local fisherman.
Yeah.
He hits the water maybe 100 times a year, you think?
Nico is probably 200. I mean, I've never seen that dog's the most in shape dog you've ever seen, because that's his excuse. He takes a dog for a walk, and he always has a rod with him. He's the leader of our group, on the little beach group. We have a lot of the dads that we all kind of are in this. We're all friends, and everyone kind of gets on the beach at some point throughout the day, usually, especially when we hear it's good. Nico's definitely the one who's the first person to tell anyone usually, but every now and then one of us gives him a good report. But it's usually him, and there's 5 or 6 of us, and you'll find, it's interesting, we're one of probably 50 of them out here. Everyone's got their group of guys, and they're on a little text thread, and we have our little fishing report, and it's like, oh, where's the fish today? So it's a great group of guys and great group of friends, and everyone's kind of follows everyone where they're going to go, and that's the best part about this, because you saw today, like, where I caught fish yesterday, we didn't have 1 fish. So knowing where other people are and sending people in different ways, that's always the best way to find them. Rise started in 2011, and now what we're doing today, as you saw, is we're starting to use through some prototypes today, which is pretty cool, of the first spinning rods from Rise. So that's something that, if you're not fly fishing in the Northeast, there's a lot of surf guys, there's a lot of, it's spin fishing in the Northeast. So I always wanted to do it, so we needed to make sure that when we do it, we're going to do it the right way.